source of profit. Okay, we will open tonight's meeting. Welcome, everyone. We're glad you're here with us. It's Monday, November 20th. Wow. We're here for the Collegedale City Commission meeting, and we will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Johnson.
Shall we pray? Dear God, we thank you for this opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you for allowing us to do this business of the city. We look forward to this rain event that's supposed to happen since it's been 6 months since we've had it. So we consider that a blessing if you would send that our way. We also say thank you for the citizens that continue to show up, for asking your name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Baker, Commissioner Lamb,
Here.
Commissioner Sadler,
Here.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Mayor Lloyd.
Here. And next, I believe everyone's had a chance to review the previous meeting minutes. Any changes, corrections, deletions from part of either of the commissioners? Okay, if there are none noted, then I will ask for a motion for approval of those minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, comments from citizens. If there are any citizens of Collegedale that are here tonight that would like to step up to the microphone, please give us your name and your address, please. Okay, there are none noted, and we will move on to unfinished business, of which we have none. New business, first reading of ordinance 1130, an ordinance to revise purchasing limits of the city manager.
An ordinance of the City of Collegedale, Tennessee, to revise purchasing limits and further define the authority of the city manager as to purchasing.
You guys have already approved ordinance 1111, which exercised some of this authority, and this is more or less a cleanup of that.
Okay.
Where that authority was granted to you by state law in the last couple of legislatures.
Okay. All right, any comments from the commission?
This is a first reading, and then public hearing would be scheduled for what day in December?
December 4th.
December 4th.
Okay. Do we have a motion for approval first reading
Move to approve.
and a second?
Second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
No.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And next, our October financial report.
In front of you, you have the October finance report. We have an ending balance in October in the checking account of 2.048944 with total revenues of 705,600. We have a general fund investment balance of just shy of 14.8 million. We have 718,000 in sewer fund and 9,800 in the airport fund. A couple of things to note. The reason that property taxes look kind of odd is that there was a property tax refund that the county issued that stems from 2015 that came out. We get most of our business tax in June, so that's not showing up yet. We get all of our cable and franchise tax in February. Our TVA gross receipts don't come in they come in November, January, April, and June, so that'll be next month. And the coalition has been invoiced, but we have not received those checks yet. And court is a little high because we bought the metal detector, and planning is high because of the Collegedale Tomorrow Foundation check is written at the first of the fiscal year.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for adding about the coalition. Do they usually pay quarterly or monthly? I noticed we haven't received anything
Quarterly.
yet.
And the reason we delayed in billing is Signal Mountain had indicated they would join, and they have not formally joined, and that would have changed the amount each city paid. And so that'll be revisited in January.
So how much will that increase for each city to pay?
If Signal joins, it'll decrease.
But since wasn't our budget based on them joining, won't that increase what we have to
I'll have to get
contribute?
you the exact numbers.
Okay.
It was back and forth, and I don't remember off the top of my head where we landed.
Okay. And then I noticed, I may have missed this before, but there's some year-to-date balance on state income tax
Where are you at?
on line item 33520.
3.3.
It's in the year-to-date column. It's $24.36. I thought it might have just went in the wrong
I'll
account.
have to double check it as to exactly why. There's still some really weird franchise stuff in state law. But yeah, I'll double check and get you an answer.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Any other-
It could have been some amount that came in, like just slowly came in that wasn't counted earlier.
It very well could be someone amended their taxes from a
Yeah,
previous
just-
year.
A little
Okay.
bit of straggling in.
Right, but I would need to double check to tell you that.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? And do we have a motion for approval?
Move.
And a
Second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamb,
Yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And do we have any reports from city administration?
Hope everyone's looking forward to Thanksgiving this week. That's it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And from the commission?
I noticed we've had an increased presence of panhandling, especially up at Walmart. Sometimes I see the same guy. It's almost like he has a shift. Is there anything that can be done about that, or can they stand there all they want?
So that's a very loaded question. And the gentleman you typically see that's there at the corner of Regions
Mhm.
has permission from the property owner to be on Regions property. So
Okay.
there's nothing we can do about it. Any of the panhandlers within Walmart, again, it's private property. We can't do anything until Walmart requests us to have them leave. And so as long as they're on private property, it's up to the private property owner to request us having them leave.
Okay, so the bank is completely fine with him standing there a regular
Yes,
shift?
yes.
Okay.
I know who you're talking about, and he absolutely has permission, and they have certain terms they've allowed him to work under. And yes, it's almost like a shift. He's a real nice gentleman, but yes, he has permission to be there.
Okay.
He just cannot block traffic.
Correct. He
So
can't
if he's
block
causing a issue with traffic and blocking, running down the road, we can do something.
traffic. We
about
can
that.
deal with it then. But as far as just being on the Regions proper, he's allowed to be there.
Okay. And then, was there any updates on Thatcher Switch for us on the paving?
Eric, can you speak to that?
Yes, good evening. So I do not have a date from Wright Brothers as far as when they're going to do their final paving, but we have paved our binder course and our scratch course to where I'm working to try and get a striper out to stripe it, but we're really close. If I can't get someone out in the next couple of days, we'll probably internally do some temporary striping to get it to where we can have everything open back up.
Okay, great. That's all I have.
Okay. Any other commissioners?
I just, this is for Ryan, at the airport. I was glad to hear that the samples came back okay, and have they continued to work, getting that all cleared up?
Yeah, so huge relief that came back because we kind of were under the assumption from the get-go that most of these projects that this company does, they usually come back with some higher level of contamination. And so we were very pleasantly surprised that ours were acceptable. They came in around lunchtime today to start the backfilling. And they also started to dig the trenches for the precision approach path indicator lighting, the new conduit lighting that'll be in there. So they started that. But they've still got a ways to go. So they're trying to get it done before Thanksgiving, but seems a little optimistic with the forecast tomorrow. So we'll see, but they have begun. Yes.
Very good.
So I have a couple things if I can.
Okay.
So Debbie asked me to check on the holiday flags. I think we put those up after Thanksgiving.
Correct.
And I think I told her that, but she just wanted me to double check that. The other thing is, I know that we all talked about having kind of a wow factor for Christmas and Christmas lights and the party. And I honestly would like to see us do a little bit more. I know David Bartow has put out a lot of expense for lights. And I will tell you, if you go by there, there's people taking family portraits or photos, and people are driving by slow, looking at it, and it's beautiful. I mean, I really like it. So I know I would like to see if we could split the cost of what he's put into or pay for what he's put into this so far, because it is for the city. I know that we haven't budgeted for this, but I think that we should have some type of donate or contributing to that.
Yeah, I would like to echo. I think the lights are fantastic. David, I think you've done a very, very good job. It's nice that it's a draw that people want to drive to Collegedale to look at the lights. We need as much of a draw from an economic standpoint as we can get. I think Little Debbie Park has been a sensation. The lights have been well received. I think our banners are just tired. I've seen those for years. I think they're tired looking. It's just the same old season's greetings banners every year.
And that's
And
not.
I think this is a refreshing change.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all that I've seen that we've ever done. They're just, the typical season's greeting banners. And, I think we can do better.
I know David's going to buy a Christmas tree for the Commons. Should be beautiful and decorated and stuff, but I would like to make a motion that we approve our city manager to pay for the expenses David's got. And I don't know that.
Or half of the expenses.
Half of the expenses. I don't know what that amount is.
As long as it's within my spending limit, I think I can get the exact number.
Can we do that since it's not been advertised?
As long as it's this is my understanding, and Sam can correct me. As long as it's within my spending limit, if we had just a simple roll call indicating your support for it, I could just approve that.
Well, you don't even need that. I mean, if it's the consensus of the board that you're articulating that you want Wayne to do that and it's in his spending limit, then you go ahead. Commissioner Sadler's right. I am trying to identify what we can and can't do off the agenda as a result of the new law in that regard. And I just finished talking to Wayne about that before all this started. So it's not on the agenda. You can, or if you want to, you can put it on the agenda and discuss it first meeting in December. And in the meantime, Wayne can investigate how much it'll cost and reimburse them after you consider it.
If it's within my spending limit, I
Yeah,
can do it.
if it's within your speed,
The
yeah.
consensus will was for me to do so.
Does anyone object to him doing it within his spending limit?
I do. It's not something we budgeted for this year, and we're already paying an extra judge's salary this year. So that's one reason I'm not for spending the unplanned funds.
Yeah, I understand that. I just think it's really what, I think we have some nice attraction to the city and we should capitalize on it. I know that with the Christmas at the Commons, Santa coming in on a fire truck, I think it would definitely give it a little bit more wow function for us. So,
Well, with the objection, why don't we just put it on the agenda and then if, the money's already been spent.
I like the idea that it will be lights and things that we can use over and over, and they're not the cheap ones that we can, that gets thrown away and then it's extra cost again another year. So I think in the long run, it is saving the city money by going ahead and paying our share of the cost of it.
I would like to see,
I'm in favor of us going ahead and letting him do it.
I would like to see us have a line item on the agenda for next year, like we do with fireworks for a Christmas program as well. That way, if we need to go ahead and put a little money up front during the budgeting process.
As part of, it would be under Parks and Rec's budget if we do it through them. Or do you mean
Well, we just
adding
need to make sure that we discuss ahead of time our expectations for Christmas instead of waiting till Thanksgiving week.
So I'm just getting clarification because we're 6 weeks or so from rolling into the budget process. So are you asking that we have a line item in Parks and Rec's budget for the Christmas program? Or are you asking that, like in the case of the Christmas lights, that we up the city's donation to Collegedale Tomorrow Foundation by whatever this number is?
Do we not have a line item for fireworks that we could have one just the same way as Christmas at the Commons as an event, what we're going to allot for it?
Go ahead.
So it's my understanding in the admin budget, there is a line item for events. I forget the exact name of it. So it's not for fireworks, but it is what we pay for fireworks out of. Ashlyn would know the exact line item.
Holidays and celebrations.
Yeah, it's like celebrations or something like that.
That'll
So
include the employee holiday dinner and fireworks and several other odds and ends.
so it's not specifically for fireworks, but it's all
Correct.
celebratory events.
Okay, so when we're doing budget talks, we can see that kind of broken out, that one, everything that's going to contribute towards that line item.
I mean, I think that's a very good point to have. I mean, I had forgot where it was, to be honest with you. I knew that we always had the 20,000 or 25,000, what is.
I think it's like 70.
No, I'm talking about just for fireworks. I knew it was all
Yeah,
lumped into
fireworks
one,
is-
but I forgot where it was.
Fireworks
but-
is 37 now and
For the fireworks, it's 37 plus the administration.
25 for the admin fee. And then there's some overtime that rolls in
Yeah.
on the overtime line.
I don't see any harm with adding that to the budget, kind of, so we can talk about it and plan for it. that's not a big deal for me, so.
Right, I'm just trying to think where it goes, because if it goes to Collegedale Tomorrow Foundation, it should go under the planning budget as a explanation of and up. If it goes through Parks and Recs programming, et cetera, but we can figure that out
Yeah.
in 6 weeks, not a big
Yeah.
deal.
So let me ask you this. So Sam, if we have a general agreement to do this, if one opposes, we need to put it on the agenda?
No, I mean, Wayne, if it's in Wayne's spending authority,
Okay.
he's got the discretion to spend it.
Yeah.
And I think he's got the impression, at least from my read, that 3 of you don't mind him doing it and 1 of you does. And so the question is, do you want to have a formal vote on it in a discussion, or since 3 of you's a majority, he can feel comfortable to go ahead? And the problem is right now, this new law says, an agenda has to be published, and if we change the agenda, then there's got to be a darn good reason to do it.
Yeah.
And respectfully, Christmas, thinking we ought to pay for part of Christmas isn't really, something that we contemplated when we came up with our rules.
Yeah.
So, so either y'all somebody can move to put it on the agenda, or of course you'd have to have a second to do that. Or Wayne feels comfortable with 3 and he can go forward.
I feel comfortable going forward.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got no problem with it. If anything, I want to see us add to what we're doing. This time next year, I'd like to see even more lights. I'm glad, to your point, that Commissioner Land, that we made the investment in quality. And I think it's a great draw. I think it brings people to our community, and I'd like to see us expand upon that next year. So I've got no problem.
I honestly think that, and I will bring this, Commissioner Sadler mentioned about planning ahead for events. And I know that 4th of July will be coming up soon, as soon as we get through the first of the year, as far as planning. I honestly think we need to have, I hate to say task force, but 2 projects going. I think we really need to think about the Christmas right after January, because we see, Saudi Daisy just had their, was it Saudi Days or Easter Egg just had their
Both
parade.
were pretty spectacular.
So I think we need to think about that now, and not, instead of postponing it. It doesn't have to mean we have to put all into Christmas right after the first of the year, but maybe if we start the planning stage, and who needs to be on there. I think it definitely would be nice to have a commissioner on there, on both of them, just for kind of an input perspective, because we all live there and we all see it. And, I'm still of the opinion Santa Claus coming on big fire truck this year. It's going to be great. The additional lights will be great. I'm a little disappointed in City Hall, though. I have to tell you, I saw Saudi Daisy. They're all lit up. But we don't have a lot of lights out there for us.
We can budget it for next year.
Yeah.
And maybe while we're doing that, we can look at seeing if there's some newer flags that we can put up along on our
That's what I'm hearing
streets.
from the commission. is they
Something
would
that's
like
not
us to-
so old and worn out.
I know Eric has a lot of good input over the years on the flags and stuff.
Yeah, I would love to completely redo how we do our holiday banners. We haven't put a lot into it since phase 2, and phase 3 at Addison Pike has kind of jacked up our corridor. But yeah, I'd love to come up with a map and maybe add some lights on posts where it's not just all banners. We can have some lights and stuff like that. I think it'd be a great idea to kind of redo our Addison Pike, Boudoir Ringgold Road corridor.
So, and I think that's when we need to start planning after the first year, what we'd like to see, because you can't do it overnight for sure, and ordering stuff. So
Yeah, we'll present in January as part of our workshop roundtable. I'll ask Eric to prepare his idea and map then as part of the budgeting process and go from it there.
all right. Well, only thing else I'm going to say tonight, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving and enjoy it with your family or friends or whoever you spend it with, because I think we all deserve it. And maybe this rain will help get rid of all the wildfires and allow people to dig in their yard once again. So
I'd like to come back. Did you make a motion for approval for Wayne to move forward?
No,
Okay, you did not. Okay.
no, because I did, but I think
Well, why don't you withdraw the motion because it's not on the agenda?
Okay.
I withdraw them.
Okay, the
Sorry
motion
about
is
that,
withdrawn.
yes.
All right.
And I'll get that figured out in the next few weeks, because I'm going to be consulting with the other city attorneys and MTS as to exactly what we can do and can't do in situations like this.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, any further comments?
Well, I just have a question for our attorney. If this new regulation, new law going in, how can cities have their meeting to put together their agenda 2 or 3 hours prior to the meeting and still get it published? And it still be within that law?
I think that's an issue. I do. And unfortunately, none of my cities have those agenda meetings that quickly, that they're, y'all's as well in advance. And Side Daisy's is too, and the rest of them really don't have agenda meetings. Well, Walden does a little bit, but what they do is they don't meet to set the agenda. They meet to kind of pre-discuss the agenda like Chattanooga does. Chattanooga has an agenda meeting too, or they'll have an agenda meeting that doesn't set the agenda for that night's meeting. Instead, they're setting the agenda for meetings out. So there's ways to deal with it, but having it immediately, you're correct.
In publishing an agenda, is that on social media site? Does that qualify?
That does qualify. They've provided for that now. It's just got to be in place 48 hours before the meeting. Of course, your practice is to have it on Friday, which more than satisfies that.
All right, any other comments?
Now,
Okay,
we
moved
have a workshop meeting a week from tonight.
Yes, to
Okay.
talk about the possibility of the library expansion. It's the only thing we have on the agenda now. And I've previously sent y'all the architectural services proposal.
I move to adjourn.
And we have a motion for adjournment, second,
Second,
and roll call, please.
Commissioner Lamb,
yay.
Commissioner Sadler,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Johnson.
Yay.
Mayor Lloyd.
Yay. And we are adjourned.